to Griffon Update Sports, a student-produced show all about Missouri Western athletics. We've got it all every week. Highlights, games, players, fans, and every sport all year long.
Welcome back to Griffon Update Sports. I'm your host, Bailey Ketchum.
And I'm Jake Michael. And today we're starting off in our newly renovated gym.
We'll take a look at the renovations later on. Today, we have updates on soccer and football's weekend and an interview with a new coach on campus.
We'll also have our sports trivia and the usual roundtable.
Today, we're discussing sports gambling.
Oh, gambling gets me excited. But let's change the subject for now, and let's check out what happened with football this weekend. Bailey was there to check out all the action.
Your locally owned source for all of your plumbing and fixture needs. Visit them on the web at St. Joseph Winston.
Hey Griffon fans, I'm here at the Missouri Western football game versus Northeastern State. It's also Military Appreciation Day. The Griffons entered today's game 1-2. The Griffons took a strong lead right away in the first quarter with 21 points and left Northeastern pointless. Northeastern added 9 to the scoreboard in the second quarter, as did the Griffons, making the score 30-9 at halftime. The Griffons weren't finished yet, as they continued to add 13 points in the third and a game high of 23 in the final quarter to make the final score 66-16. Quarterback Don Marino talked about what they had been working on leading up to the game and their strengths.
The main focus for this week was really, just making sure we handle our business and do the jobs that we need to do. Looking back on the last 3 weeks. We were so close that we would be one guy away, and we knew that if every one of our 11 guys handled their job, we'd be all right. So that's what we focused on. Our strengths were our attention to detail, really. Going back to that same deal, if we focus in and do what we need to do, we knew things would happen for us.
The wealth spread throughout the whole team, as 6 Griffons either scored or threw the first touchdown of their Griffon career. Marino also talked about how it felt for another quarterback to get some minutes.
Me and Wyatt are roommates, we're best pals, so there's no animosity. We both push each other to be better every day, and we both cheer each other on. We both cheer each other on in everything we do. So I'm glad we both got to handle business.
This is Bailey Ketchum for Griffon Update Sports.
It's great to see football chalking up another win. They play home again this weekend against Washburn. Hey, how's soccer do this weekend?
We had an amazing weekend for our home opening. Reporter Miles Kilgore and Dawson Whitman were there to cover it.
On Friday, Missouri Western Soccer pulled off one of the biggest wins in program history as they defeated number 1 ranked UCM by a score of 1-0. Coach Chad Edwards was very pleased about his team's performance.
I just loved our mentality to start the game. I thought the kids came out with a great mentality and great work rate and executed too. It's one, we talk about the 3 things: attitude, effort, execution. We put it together. The first half, it was fun to see.
Missouri Western allowed 0 goals thanks to a huge game by freshman goalkeeper Anna Mayer.
Anna's just played it really well tonight, and made that huge save late in the game, and was pretty clean on her hands. Had a couple drops, but overall she cleaned up everything.
Western's only goal came in the 31st minute off of a header by senior Sarah Collins during a corner kick.
It was a team effort. We worked really, really hard during the whole entire game, and just for me to be able to contribute like that on the field and score the game-winning goal was pretty awesome.
This is the Griffons' first win against the number 1 ranked opponent in program history.
It's an amazing night, and I couldn't be more proud of our kids and just so proud for our alumni and everybody associated with our program.
I think that beating a team like this is definitely going to motivate us for the future games that we have coming up, and I think we're just going to keep getting better.
Reporting for Griffon Media, I'm Dawson Whitman.
Wow, I can't believe your team beat the number 1 team in the country. They're home again this weekend against Emporia and Washburn.
Let's change the subject a little bit and talk about our newly renovated gym.
Yeah, it's pretty slick. Reporter Morgan Doyle got up close and personal with the renovations.
Anyone who's already been out to a Missouri Western home volleyball game this fall may have noticed some slight changes about their new home court. And by slight, I mean major. Looney Arena underwent a complete makeover this fall with the help of some private donors.
From commencement, really all through the summer, we were doing things from all the seating was demoed and brought in new chairback seating, new bleacher seating, obviously the paint, the wall graphics. It is a brand new arena without actually taking a wrecking ball and building a brand new arena.
The new arena had been in the works for about 2 years and was almost finished before the first home volleyball game, as there's still a few finishing touches left at press time. But even before those get done, this gym's gotten the Griffon seal of approval.
When we had a home game, the students were all black and they kind of blended in with the background, but they were loud and it just kind of bring a more high energy just because it's so fierce in here. The old gym, it wasn't the prettiest, and people walked in, they're like, oh, it just is kind of a rundown feeling, and this one, it feels crisp and clean.
Before the $1 million facelift, Looney Arena still housed bleachers back from when the gym originally opened in 1981. And where sponsorship signs used to hang is now a bold branding from Missouri Western.
I know for our coaches and athletes, all of our facilities were fortunate to be relatively new, or since 2010. And this arena was the one that really hadn't been touched in a long time.
And everyone seems to have one all-around favorite aspect of the new arena.
The graphic designs that they put up in the place is awesome. Seeing over there on the yellow, there's a big wing.
They're very subtle. I think people come in and they say, is that a shadow? What's on that wall? And then they can say, oh my gosh, that's the wings of the Griffon. And that's really kind of those finishing touches.
But the gym didn't only need an upgrade for athletic reasons. It will also now make campus look better for events and freshman recruitment.
This is the most heavily trafficked venue on campus. You think of all the things that come in here that are non-athletic. You have commencement, you have Griffon Edge, you have convocation, large major events for the university that you want to have something you're proud of to show people.
And the renovations are still just the beginning for Missouri Western's bright future.
I think Missouri Western is a university that is in transformation, and that's beyond athletics. And what this university has been able to do in the last decade, pound for pound, is unmatched in the country. So athletics is certainly a front porch to that, but it takes people that believe in the mission of the university, the community support, and individual support to make it happen. And I think the best is yet to come on all phases of this university.
And if you haven't seen the new arena, come to a home volleyball game, or even just peek your head inside when you're in the building. Because one thing is for sure, me talking about this place doesn't even do it justice. For Griffon Media, I'm Morgan Doyle.
Well, it sounds like volleyball's happy to be playing in the new gym.
Hey, have you been able to talk to the new cross-country and track coach yet?
No, but he held the door open for me the other day, so he seems like a nice guy.
I was able to get to know him a little bit in our interview. Check it out. Hey everyone, I'm here with Yuri Litvinsky. He is the head coach for men's and women's cross country and track and field. He is the second head coach in the second year of the program. Can you talk a little bit about where you were before Missouri Western, coaching, competing, and where you grew up?
Sure. Right before I came to Missouri Western, I was at Idaho State University. Completed 2 years of coaching down there. I was the assistant coach for the sprints and the jumps. And so that's pretty much where I'm coming from. This job opportunity presented itself. I applied for it and interviewed and was lucky to land the job, and I'm happy to be here. Competing-wise, I competed back in 2003 to 2006 for the University of Northern Iowa. That's where I got my bachelor's degree. I was a triple jumper, long jumper, and I had a lot of fun with it. So now I'm coaching, but anyways, I hope I answered your question.
Yes, you did. Okay, so you said you reached out. How did that process work of you coming to be the head coach?
The process took a little while. First it started with the application, obviously. Then we went to a phone interview, and the next stage was an on-campus interview. I met with the search committee and Josh Looney. And the president, Dr. V. I met with pretty much almost everybody and interviewed, and a few days later, about a week after I interviewed here, I got the phone call with the offer, and I was fortunate to land it.
Okay, so only being the second head coach in the second year of the program, I know that comes with a lot of things. What were some goals that you came in with?
Well, some of the goals, it was pretty much unknown for me. To have a specific goal for the program was pretty, like I said, it was unknown. I am learning now, still learning. Everybody on this team, including myself, is new. New to me, at least, as far as the kids that are on the team. So with the goals, I am going to work on that and try to be a little more specific as the year progresses. One of the very few goals that we have right now specific are community service and campus engagement. We need to do a much better job this year with that aspect. On the athletic side, we want to do better than what we did last year. You know, taking on this program. Obviously did a little research and saw where we were last year at the MIAA championships, and we were pretty much down at the bottom. So going into this year, my goal is to do better this year and climb up that ladder on at least the MIAA. I think we have some great talent on the team that could present some opportunities for us at the national level as well. We're going to have to wait and see how that goes. But I think our women's sprinters, especially the 4x4, we have a chance to do something great. We have a few individual jumpers that can do something great on the national level. On the men's side, I think we have a couple of sprinters that can do some great things as well. And I think our relay this year should be pretty good, so we're going to have to wait and see.
Okay. How would you describe your coaching style?
My coaching style, that is a tough question to answer. But I think my coaching style is I pay a lot of attention to detail. I like to have fun at practice, but also get things done at the same time. So it's a happy balance of how much fun you need to have at practice and how much can you accomplish. But it's a happy mixture of both of those elements that I like to bring every practice and get after it. I like to pay a lot of attention to how we do things from the beginning of practice. That starts with warm-up and then it finishes with the cool down. I like to have fun with our kids. I like to get to know them on a personal level. And sometimes I'm a stickler to rules too. So that's kind of, I hope that it explains it a little bit better.
Yeah, it definitely does. So how have you liked coaching here so far at Missouri Western? How have you enjoyed working with your teams?
It's been a transition. I think it's been a positive transition. That's what I've experienced so far. A lot of the coaching has been done through learning about our kids, both cross country and track. So in the first 3 or 4 weeks of school, I met with every single one, about 75 people that I got to know a little bit better. And the transition is still going. It hasn't been completed yet, but I think that things are settling down right now, and I feel good about where we are and how the kids are responding.
All right, that's great to hear. That's all I have for you today. This is Bailey Ketchum for Griffon Update Sports.
I feel like he's going to help the program go far.
I agree. Ready for some sports trivia?
Of course. Per usual, we like to get out on campus to get Missouri Western students involved and talk sports. Here's our segment, Do You Know Your Sports with Bailey Ketchum.
Can you tell me who the quarterback for the Chiefs are?
Patrick Mahomes.
Can you tell me who Mitch Trubisky plays for?
Chicago Bears.
I think you're right. Who did the Minnesota Vikings release from their team last week?
Daniel Carlson, after he blew the game-winning kick in second overtime, so they ended in a tie.
Who did Josh Gordon from the Browns get traded to this year?
The New England Patriots.
You're right. Who is Earl Thomas?
He's a safety for the Seahawks.
Can you tell me what team has been affected by the new catch rule controversy of roughing the passer?
It's the Packers.
Can you tell us what happened to Aaron Rodgers?
He just sprained his knee. He's fine.
Okay. Can you tell me who's playing quarterback for the Eagles, Foles or Wentz?
Eli Manning.
No, it's not it.
Oh, Wentz, right? Wentz, okay.
NFL, I got all those easy.
I bet you did. We'll have more time to talk in our sports roundtable after this break.
The average text takes your eyes off the road for nearly 5 seconds.
Welcome back. Jake and I are here along with Griffon News editor Gannon Cornley to talk about sports gambling. Jake, are you a gambler?
As far as putting my money where my mouth is, yeah, and it can get me in trouble sometimes. This round table is a good example of it. But no, and I would like to. I'm not old enough yet, but I would like to. It's something that I'd be open to doing. However, in Missouri, it's not fully legalized yet. The bill's been, proposed, but it hasn't been passed yet. So when it does finally happen, which may not be for several months, I'll definitely come around to do it. But again, what they worry about is that people getting too carried away with gambling, and you end up going broke. So the best way to counter that and to fix that problem is to put a cap on how much people can bet. So you don't go absolutely crazy. That's the solution to me, and that's what they should think about when they're coming up with the regulations with the bill.
I completely agree with you. I think that it should be legal. I think that it should be allowed. There just has to be rules set in place so where, like you said, people don't get carried away. I think a cap's a good idea. I think there's some other things that they can do just to limit how much, put an age limit for one. I think that some people that, isn't it 21, I think?
I believe so.
For those states that do allow it, I think that's a great idea, kind of starting it at 21. But just overall, I think that it's a great idea. It's a great thing to get sports and get people involved in sports. Makes the whole thing go around. I think it's a really good idea.
Yeah. I'm not much of a gambler and never really have been, but maybe with this bill passing, maybe I will start doing it, because I think a big issue is that people have gone to those black market and underground industries and have been doing it the wrong way, because it's like people are going to gamble no matter what. But the fact that if this bill gets passed, then people can do it the proper way, and then states can also generate income tax off of it and make money off of it. The governor in Rhode Island included almost $24 million into his 2019 fiscal budget because he thinks that sports betting is going to bring in this much revenue to the states. And so I think that it's a positive in that way, because it is going to generate a lot of revenue, and I think it will also bring about a lot of jobs coming up. And that's always a big thing here, helping out in unemployment.
Yeah, economically, there's a lot of advantages. If every state was to legalize it, you're talking upwards. I think the numbers are like $40 billion for the United States. That's a lot of money, and probably $3 billion in tax revenue for state governments. So there is that upside. I used to do like prize leagues for fantasy football a couple years ago, and then it got prohibited, and I couldn't do them anymore. So but let's say I had to get together with 10 of my friends, and we all get in our own league. Everybody put in $100. Why wouldn't websites like CBS, Yahoo? Why wouldn't they want to get in on that? Either way, I'm going to find a way to put my money where it shouldn't be a gamble in a way.
I really think who needs to push this is the leagues. I think the NBA, the NFL, NHL, just all these leagues, they kind of need to push that, because I feel like every time I turn on ESPN, they're talking about how ratings are dropping and this and that. Well, I think that if you allow people to bet on some of your games, I think that would be a great way to get people more involved. Now more money is involved, more people are at your games, more people are watching your games, more people are talking about your games. I feel like that's free publicity, honestly, right there. I think that's kind of the role that they need to take.
Yeah, and I 100% agree. The professional leagues, all of them need to take advantage of this to promote their product and generate all the revenue that can come from it. But it's interesting because out of all the 50 states right now, there's only 5 of them that actually have passed the bill. So many of them, the Supreme Court ruled it in May, and not many bills have even been talked about in a lot of the states. So it's I feel like people aren't really thinking of it as a big, important thing right now, and aren't looking at how much money all the states can get from it. And I think the most money won't come out of it unless all the states get on the same page.
Yeah, to branch off your guys' points about the leagues getting involved in it, I mean, the NBA and MGM partnered up, and so their biggest goal when they partnered with them is to get a more safer betting experience for bettors. And that's using real data and statistics that is provided by the NBA, so that they can create lines that are fair and so that people have a good betting experience, so that people aren't throwing players aren't throwing games and things like that. We had the issue with the NBA referee Tim Donaghy a while way back, but that was a big issue. And so I think for them to get involved in that industry, it's just going to get more people to have a better betting experience.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. I think that the leagues kind of get their hands on the laws and stuff like that. I think that they can kind of manipulate it in the way they want it, to where it's fun for everybody. There's no fixing games and stuff like that, and everyone's having fun and enjoying it.
Yeah, I mean, sports defines our culture. People are always going to be in love with going to sports games and stuff, but I think adding the betting in there and making it legal will just add a little bit more fun for everyone and just more of that competitiveness between the fans, because who doesn't like making bets? And obviously winning the bets is my favorite thing. Yep. Right now I'd be betting on the Chiefs winning.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely. No, you can't put your money anywhere else. No, but and then there's the mobile betting. People can, while they're sitting in their seats at a game, can place a bet. It's so. There's such a wide variety of ways you can do it that people are going to find a way to do it, whether it's through the black market or through actual companies that actually do it that don't prohibit it. But no matter what, it's going to happen.
Yeah, it is. Just why not make it legal so
exactly.
we can do it the right way?
That's right.
I think there's this gray area between all these states. Like you said, there's only 5. Is that correct?
Mm-hmm.
5 states that allow it now, and I think there's some states that are like kind of for it, but not really. I think there's just, why have that gray area? Why not just let's all be on the same page, everyone do the same thing, and then go from there.
Yeah, it clears up so many things, and then there's so many more advantages than the disadvantages, in my opinion, and I think we can all agree on that.
Yep.
After this break, we'll take a look at more results from our teams and this week's upcoming sporting events.
A leading problem I've faced is a misunderstanding on the part of students of the importance of academic advising. They miss appointments. They don't make appointments. But what's most disappointing is when they come unprepared. Give me a student with a plan in their head, or better yet, on paper. We could talk about their interests, not just about their classes. We could discuss internships, classwork, grad programs. It would open the door to what advising is truly about.
Can I help you?
But instead, they come to me in a panic when they need to register because...
I need to talk to you. I was trying to register for my classes, but it wouldn't let me do it because I need my PIN, and I haven't had time to set up an advising, so I don't even know what classes I need to take, so I just signed up for a bunch of random ones, and I'm going to drop them later. So can I have my PIN real fast? Because I'm still logged into a computer in the lab. Am I interrupting?
Take ownership of your education. Make the most of your advisement by being proactive, punctual, and prepared. You'll open the door to more personalized attention and avoid costly setbacks. It's never too soon to begin planning your next steps at Missouri Western.
Welcome back. Before we end the show, we want to give you more updates about what's going on with all Missouri Western sports.
Volleyball went 1-1 last weekend against Southwest Baptist and Missouri Southern, and soccer went 1-1 last weekend against Central Missouri and Lindenwood.
For the upcoming schedule, volleyball is home against Kearney and Fort Hays. Football is home against Washburn on Saturday at 7 p.m. Soccer is also home against Emporia on Friday and Washburn Sunday. Women's golf has the Augustana Fall Invitational in Sioux Falls. Women's tennis has the ITA Central Regional Tournament starting on Friday. And cross country heads to the Lawrence Rimrock Collegiate Classic.
That's all we have for you today. For more information on Griffon Athletics, check out gogriffons.com. Also, check out Bailey's Sports Report on Griffon Update next week.
We've got you covered every week. From all of us here at Griffon Update Sports, thank you for watching.